Marc B. Victor, Esquire, presents online training to help attorneys better value their cases. And he's joined us today to talk a little bit about the training that he presents. Marc is the pioneer in the application of decision tree analysis to litigation and founder of Litigation Risk Analysis, Inc. He's taught this techniques to thousands of in-house and outside counsel, as well as mediators, and he's also consulted on the evaluation of hundreds of cases. Marc, what is litigation risk analysis and why is it necessary?
Well, Andrew, as you said, it's primarily the application of decision tree analysis techniques that are taught in business and engineering and medical schools to the evaluation of lawsuits. As far as why it's necessary, well, because even lawyers that handle just moderately complex cases have to deal with lots of uncertainties. What evidence will surface? How's the judge going to rule on different motions? What issues is the jury going to think about and in what order? What conclusions are they going to reach on different claims? How much are they going to award in damages? Will a trial verdict stand on appeal? There's just so many uncertainties, and it's just too hard to juggle all of that in your head and feel confident that you're reaching the right overall conclusion about case value. And even if a lawyer thinks that they have done a good job doing that, as tricky as it is, can they really convince their client? You know, if all they're saying is, well, the judge will probably do this and the jury will probably do that, but on the other hand, maybe the judge will do this and you know, the jury could do this other thing instead, that doesn't cut it with their corporate clients. Clients of really any type, whether it's corporate or government, even individuals, they want to see a more transparent, more quantitative analysis of how the attorney is arriving at the case value. And these techniques allow that to happen. And it's why so many in-house and outside counsel have been attending these courses over the past several decades.
Great. So how do you determine what goes into the decision tree for a case?
Well, it's certainly tempting, and I've heard from a lot of lawyers who say, well, I know a little something about decision trees. They're tempted to start drawing that tree immediately. And, you know, in simple cases, that's fine. But in anything other than the most simple cases, that can be an inefficient way to go about it and lead to a tree that's either too simple or too academic and doesn't really reflect the way they feel the judge and jury or an arbitrator, works in arbitration as well, doesn't really reflect the way that the judge, jury, or arbitrator is really going to think through the case. So I found that figuring out what should go into the tree and how those issues should be sequenced is better done with a brainstorming tool that I call a dependency diagram. In business schools, they call them influence diagrams, but you know, lawyers like to say when asked how good their case is, well, it depends. So these dependency diagrams are a great first step. And if the lawyer will follow the rules for creating a dependency diagram, then they'll end up with the best level of detail for their tree. Maybe it'll reflect all the elements of the causes of action, but maybe it'll be a little bit more general and kind of bigger picture, just depending on how the jury is likely to think through the facts and the instructions that they get in a case. It also, by following the rules of building a good dependency diagram, will indicate the best sequence for the issues in the decision tree. It's not always the one that somebody thinks of first. It's not always the one that follows exactly how an appellate court would think through things. At the trial level, that's often different. And I should point out that with the TreeAge Pro software, there's both the decision tree capabilities, but there's also the dependency diagram capabilities.
Great, thank you. Decision tree analysis involves the use of probabilities. How does a lawyer come up with these numbers?
Yeah, over my years of working with counsel on different cases, I've developed some specific steps to help them convert those kind of gut feelings and best guesses that they start with into numeric probabilities. Ones that after they do feel have realistically captured their chances of success on each of the issues in their tree, and which let them explain their views to co-counsel and clients, and even to mediators. So it's clearly a critical step. We all know that garbage in, garbage out, and a lawyer should rightly only rely on the output of a decision tree analysis if they're confident about the quality of the probabilities that go into it. Not only the lawyer, but the client. They need to have confidence in the quality of the probabilities that go in. And with the techniques that I've developed working with lawyers for decades on cases, they do end up feeling confident about the probabilities that go in. And for those who are thinking about this more for the first time, I should point out that they shouldn't kid themselves that even if they don't use numeric probabilities when talking with their clients, and even if they don't solve a decision tree, every time they make a settlement recommendation, they're still susceptible to garbage in, garbage out. So if they're only describing things with terms like probably and very good chance and unlikely and so on, and then somehow magically they come up with some conclusion about case value that they're going to convey to their client, the chances of garbage in, garbage out are, not only are they there, but they're even greater than if they go through the steps that I teach for converting those opinions into numbers and then using the decision tree to solve for the overall value of the case.
Excellent. How is the value of the case calculated from the decision tree?
Right. So once we have those probabilities and the trees laid out, and the consequences of the jury doing different things have been identified, usually in dollar terms. Many corporate clients will make decisions based on the probability weighted average value that comes from the decision tree. Technically, it's called an expected value, but it's really, as I said, just a probability weighted averaging of all of the different possible dollar results. And many corporate clients use this expected value concept so long as there are not substantial dollars at stake, in which case they want to see the full distribution of potential results and those relative probabilities of each of those. Now with TreeAge Pro, those are both just a few clicks away, both the calculation of the expected value and developing the full probability distribution from the tree, showing each of the possible results and their relative chances of occurring. I think it's important for newcomers to appreciate that the math that goes into solving the tree, both for the expected value and for that full distribution, that's being done with centuries-old probability arithmetic. And it's been shown for centuries, literally, it's why it's been used for so long, that the results you get from using this probability math those results are the ones that are most consistent, or will be the most consistent with the attorney's opinions on each of the underlying liability and damages issues that they think the judge and jury are going to do. So rather than juggling it in their head, using this centuries-old probability arithmetic is the best way to do it. And as a matter of fact, it's recognized as so sound that it's taught in medical schools for doctors to make better life and death decisions. So that's what TreeAge is doing, and it produces results that clients can have confidence in.
Well, thank you, Mark. That was very interesting, and I look forward to the next training. Have a great day.
I look forward to offering it. Thank you, Andrew.